we just got through a presidential election a few months ago, but some Democrats are already sending strong signals that they are throwing their hats into the ring.
Per Politico, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, my former boss, is expected to announce that he's not running for Michigan's open Senate seat. Democratic operative David Axelrod told Politico Pete would have been a formidable candidate for the Senate had he chosen to run. But had he won in 26, it would almost certainly have taken him out of the conversation for 28. This certainly keeps that option open.
Politico also ran a column about someone else who might very well be a contender in 2028, Rahm Emanuel, the former Chicago mayor and former Obama chief of staff, and most recently was the United States ambassador to Japan. Emanuel told Politico, "I've only been back from Japan 2 months. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not done with public service, and I'm hoping public service is not done with me."
Emanuel also dished some presidential talk during a meeting with the Economic Club of Chicago. Here he is.
We have failed the American people, and they're pissed off, and guess what? They earn the right to be pissed off at all of us. I'm going to say this right now. We're having a debate about pronouns, right? Well, what if you have 2/3 of your kids that don't know what a pronoun is? Okay, and nobody is raising their voices. You just had the worst reading scores in 30 years, worst math scores in 30 years. And we're talking about bathrooms, locker rooms. Well, you can't be a party that believes in equity and allow 2/3 of your kids can't read. 2/3 of your kids. I believe I grew up in a home, a Democrat was one of the 10 lost tribes of the Jewish people.
Some are not happy at this prospect, however. Political commentator Matt Stoller wrote on X, Rahm Emanuel is running in 2028. If he's the candidate, I'm leaving the party. I'm not interested in a boring club membership.
Then you have California Governor Gavin Newsom. It's been a big topic on Rising today. Newsom recently launched a podcast inviting right-wing powerhouses like Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, and Michael Savage on as guests. As Politico points out, it seems that Newsom's intentions are clear. Lulu Chang-Maservi, founder of communications company Rostra, wrote on X, "The biggest comms coup of the week is Gavin Newsom's podcast. I was dismissive at first, but it's actually political genius. Newsom has not only invited them on, but he's kept the conversation civil and even warm and will gradually distance himself from the woke excesses of the past. Now he'll have several years to hone his argument, practice debating, and explain away political liabilities like his COVID school closures. All the leftist headlines attacking him show it's working. He's, quote, out of step with the state. He's all set in the state. He's aiming for Washington." Yeah, she's saying basically what I was saying earlier today about the success of this strategy. We've talked about that a good deal. When it comes to Rahm Emanuel, look, I think he was discovering the right message there, but he's very associated with Obama, and I guess maybe that's fine. And I don't know that Matt Stoller's fury or frustration matters very much, but it remains to be seen whether he can be a electoral combatant in his own right. I do agree that emphasizing how being hung up on progressive things like what pronouns to use and missing the massive failures of our education system to produce young people who have improving math and reading scores is an area for Democrats to focus on and to emphasize how they are going to innovate and going to abandon whatever failed policies of the past led those scores not to improve in municipalities run by Democrats. So I think that is the right message. I don't know whether Rahm Emanuel is the right person to deliver it. Maybe Gavin Newsom is if he's going to get on those subjects. But what do you make of it?
I'm smiling because Rahm Emanuel is known for being combative. Mm-hmm. And so if what Democrats are looking for is somebody who's ready for a fight, I mean, Rahm Emanuel may be the answer to that particular question. I will say he has been, in my estimation, pretty consistent about what he thinks the message of the party should be. He was very direct in pushing back on this James Carville notion of rolling over and not doing anything. And he's been like beating a dead horse and saying that Democrats need to be talking about only one thing, and that is the price of groceries, the price of groceries, the price of groceries. And I think it makes sense that he was talking to the economic club there. I think what's really interesting is of the three people that we have highlighted here, they're all known for being straight shooters in the way they talk. And whether you like their policies or not, they come across as exactly who they are, which I think might be just the right prescription for the Democratic Party in 2028.
and they're culturally moderate, or at least they're
Sure.
moving in a cultural moderate direction. Newsom's big liability, in my opinion, is the COVID policies, which are just so unpopular on the right. He doesn't seem like, I don't know if there are liberals in California who are really happy with how he performed during COVID. Maybe there are. It seems like he risks just alienating what was his base as he pursues a more centrist or moderate path. And then also there's the issue of, what is the, 'cause I think moderating on culture issues is smart for Democrats, but then if they just moderate on everything, then they're going to just end up in some kind of squishy centrist place where they don't inspire any fervor or love or excitement among the activists they need to send in small donations or whatever. Those people want probably economic progressivism at least, and so I don't know if they're going to moderate on culture issues but remain left on those things. I think they're still working that out.
Well, I
It's
think
kind of the Bernie Sanders approach, honestly.
maybe, but I don't think any of those three gentlemen would argue that they're trying to be Bernie Sanders. I think the key to, and this is good advice for Democrats, pro tip, not just for Democrats, but also for Republicans, the key is you have to be yourself. And I think that is why people find all three of those individuals compelling. Again, you might disagree with their policies. You might think that their answers to the challenges that we face as a nation are not the right ones. But no one has ever said that Pete Buttigieg doesn't come across as the normal guy when he's talking to you about complicated issues. No one thinks Rahm Emanuel is trying to be somebody he's not. And Gavin Newsom has always said exactly what's on his mind.
Coming up next, how could a remake of a classic go so wrong? Can you say wokeness? We'll talk about it coming up next.